Hi, my name is Derek Henry with Excelivate Consulting. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how absolute and relative references work in Excel. This is all about how formula references move when you copy and paste. This example file has a sheet for each of the 4 reference types here at the front that correspond to each of them. First up is relative references. Notice how I've got data here in cells A1 through C1, and then right here in A1 through A3 through C3, I've got references back to those. If I copy here and I paste over into cell F5, notice that the references correspond to how they worked over here from when I copied. Each of the rows is 2 above, and both the column and the row updated. See over here it was A1, now it's F3. Next we're going to look at absolute references. So if I copy the same cells and I paste here, notice that nothing changed. They're still referring to the same cells. That's because both the column and the row are absolute references, and that's indicated by the $ before the column and the $ before the row. This works really well when you're referring to input sources such as dates or IDs that are often on another sheet. Next, we'll look at row absolute references. If I copy the same references, paste over here, notice that the row doesn't change because I've got the $ in front of the row, but the column does. These work really well when you have inputs at the top of your sheet, perhaps in a hidden row or as field settings. Lastly, we're going to look at column absolute references. So again, if I copy the same references, paste to the same spot, notice that the column is absolute, so it stays as column A, which is indicated here by the $, but it moved down to row 3 as the reference. These work well when you have inputs on the left side of your sheet, perhaps in a hidden column or as labels off to the side. Some tips for determining the type that you need. 1. Use the active cell reference as a baseline. If the reference in the copied cell is above or below, you probably want to have a $ before the row number. If the reference is to the left or right, you probably want to have a $ before the column letter. If it's above, below, and left, right, you probably want to have a $ below both. If you set up your worksheet optimally, you'll have at least one $ in most of your references. Lastly, we'll look at an example. So right here I've got a VLOOKUP. I've got the person's name here, and I want to bring in some contact information. It's from this other sheet here. So what I've done here is I've got the $ before the A because I don't want this to change, even though I'm going to copy the formula over here to the right. And then the number of columns over I want to look at, I've used a $ in front of the 1 because I don't want the row to move down. And so if you notice, I've got the exact same formula going that I copied here, and I pasted to all of these. Look, I can even do that again. None of them change. And that's because I've set up these references optimally. I don't want this to change. I want this to stay the same for all of them. And then for each of the rows, I don't want the rows to change. That's it for this video covering absolute and relative references in Excel. You can find more videos like this one and many other resources on our website at www.excelivate.co. Thanks for watching and have an excellent day.